Well, the White House was very proud of the wind program. They called it Bidenomics in action. And now an energy company is pulling the plug on two of the largest wind farms that were in the works, these two off the coast of New Jersey. They're blaming inflation, rising interest rates, supply chain bottlenecks. They say they cannot possibly build these for the price that they originally contracted, so those deals are done. Journalist Michael Shellenberger has investigated the impact of wind energy projects on whales and on the environment, something that really wasn't dug into by the government before they signed off on all of these. He joins me in just a moment. But first to correspondent Lucas Tomlinson, who is reporting live from Nantucket, Massachusetts, where he'll be covering the president's Thanksgiving. But it's also a place where this has been a hugely hot issue for residents. Hi, Lucas.
There's no question about it, Martha. Recall when President Biden met China's president last week in San Francisco, his climate envoy, John Kerry, had a seat at the table. The president has often said that climate change is one of the biggest challenges facing this country.
Climate action offers an opportunity for the nation to come together.
Climate change is one of the biggest challenges facing this country.
Climate action offers an opportunity for the nation to come together and do some really big things. You know, I've seen firsthand what the reports make clear, the devastating toll of climate change and its existential threat to all of us.
And as an example, the White House touted that large offshore wind project you just mentioned, Martha, off the coast of New Jersey, led by a Danish company. As the Wall Street Journal reports, it was supposed to be the, quote, poster child for the wind power revolution and supposed to help build America's clean energy future. That Danish company lined up high-profile projects championed by Democratic-led states with ambitious climate targets like New Jersey and Massachusetts. In fact, we saw a wind farm flying into Nantucket here yesterday, Martha. But this so-called climate revolution is in danger of capsizing. The companies recently canceled the construction of those two New Jersey wind farms over charges of incompetence from the governor and sparked what could be a $300 million lawsuit. And in New York, a pricing dispute has threatened to delay Albany's renewable energy goals. A New England utility partner is trying to unload stakes in 3 joint projects. Suppliers across the region are in limbo. And as you mentioned, President Biden is coming here to Nantucket later tonight, where he will spend the Thanksgiving holiday, Martha.
Okay, we'll be watching your coverage of that. Lucas, always good to see you. Thank you very much. So let's bring in journalist Michael Shellenberger, co-executive producer of Thrown to the Wind, a documentary about the impact of offshore wind projects on whales. Michael, always good to see you. So Ørsted's stock has been hit very hard in all of this, while the traditional energy companies have done well during this period. You see a number of these projects, as Lucas just outlined, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, now all being scrapped. What does this say for the future of these projects? Are they done or just a speed bump?
Hey, Martha, it's good to be with you. You know, unfortunately, it's probably just a speed bump. I mean, I think that some serious effort was made to expose the impact of the wind industry in killing endangered whale species on the East Coast. We know that that had a big impact. The public opposition, the lawsuits. It's very hard to build anything if the public is against you, and the public on the East Coast is against these wind farms. But I think that these guys are relentless. Remember, they're getting a third of the cost, maybe more paid, but they did have to write down $4 billion in losses from these investments. They had to cancel participation in a big new project in Norway. So the wind industry is definitely on the ropes, but the desire to just endlessly subsidize this inefficient form of energy appears to be endless. And so we have to stay vigilant to protect these whales and protect the East Coast.
Well, today and Friday, you could really sense the White House, maybe a bit of panic on this and a doubling down, because they announced a 6th wind farm project. They essentially stretch all the way up and down the Atlantic coastline of the United States. And they also, as you say, have like almost 70% tax relief on these projects for investors in them.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think it's important to remember how vulnerable these projects are. I mean, on the one hand, it's huge amounts of money, but they're just so inefficient. They don't make sense from just a bottom line number. But I think the problem is that people have an idea about wind that's wrong, and people should just go look at what the devastation to the landscape, the beautiful East Coast where so many of us, including some of us from the West Coast, actually go and enjoy summer vacation, those seascapes will be ruined with these huge wind turbines stretching up towards the horizon. Plus, they haven't even begun really installing them. That's going to create huge amounts of noise that separates mothers from their calves. That's a part of what kills the whales. Also, adding all that boat traffic results in more boat collisions, which kills the whales. So there's so many different ways in which you could kill this endangered species, of which there's only 400 individuals left. It's crazy that there's any effort to build a wind farms, wind projects off the East Coast when this species is under 1,000 individuals. It's critically endangered North Atlantic right whale. We have to remain vigilant. You know, with conservation, when you're protecting endangered species like this, the work is never done because somebody always is pressing to make a profit on the backs of nature and on the back of ratepayers on the East Coast who are going to see an increase in electricity prices if the project goes through.
Yeah. Your documentary outlined the argument that there's a connection between the production of these wind farms and the loss of these whales. We'll see where all of this goes. Michael, always good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us today.